It's not all bad. Pain is an indicator that something's wrong. So if you don't have anything, sometimes they'll talk about the silent killers in our lives, diabetes, heart failure. Sometimes there's not a physical pain, so you don't know that something's wrong. Pain tells you something's wrong. When you're struggling in areas of your life, like you were talking about, there's some pain there. There's pain when you can't pay your bills. Is that right? So the pain lets you know that maybe you haven't budgeted, maybe you haven't taken the time to do your budget correctly. Whatever your pain is, the Holy Spirit reduces the intensity of that. He calms us down. He pacifies us. When babies are upset and you just walk in the floor and you're patting them and all that, some people, I wasn't one of them people because I didn't want to have to break her from this, they'll use a pacifier. Just enough to get the baby to just calm down. The difference between the Holy Spirit being a pacifier and us with children is this. We leave the pacifier in way too long. And the baby becomes dependent to the point of teeth coming in wrong. They don't know how to be independent, a lot of different things. The Holy Spirit gives us just enough to get back where we need to be, and then we're off and running again. Isn't he a great comforter? He's the main comfort in our sufferings. The main comfort. It's good to go and talk to people and say, I'm really feeling bad about this. I want you to pray for me. I want you to help me through that. And people can only do so much. So much. And God will direct you, if you ask him, who to go to help you through some things. But the ultimate comfort is not in alcohol. It's not in drugs. It's not in illicit sexual relations. Don't know why God has me here. It's not in anything outside that will do damage to what God has said for us to do in his word. That comfort has got to come from the Spirit of God that lives on the inside of us. And if we aren't feeling that comfort, then that's a conversation that we need to have with our Father to find out what's going on. What's going on? So the first one, again, is a comforter. The next one, one of my personal favorites, is he's a counselor. Proverbs 8:14 says, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding and I have strength. Isaiah 9:6 says, and normally we think about this at Christmas time, or we think about this when we're talking about the beginnings of Christ's physical life here on earth, but I want to look at it differently. He says, for unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor. Wonderful Counselor. He's a mighty God. He's everlasting Father. He's a Prince of Peace. And I want to bring that particular one out because counselor there means purpose, devise, to plan. So when we're having difficulties in our lives, we're trying to find purpose, trying to devise a way to live, how to plan our lives. We talked about our constitutions. We can write constitutions all day long. But if the Holy Spirit isn't designing what our constitution should be, it's just words on paper. It's just words on paper. If it's coming from our finite minds, it's just words on paper. God has to tell us what should be our constitution. What do we purpose? What do we plan? What are we writing? How are we living? We don't have the wherewithal for ourselves to do that. How do you know that? Because we keep bumping. We keep bumping our heads, messing up here. Oh, I forgot about how to do this. We need the Holy Spirit of God to do that for us. Is that right? As a counselor, one of the things that they learn, I was trained as a clinical therapist. One of the first things that they tell you is don't talk so much. Don't talk. You let the people talk. Now, you don't give too much advice either. Especially as a Christian counselor, you really shouldn't be giving advice. You should be giving what's in the word. I digress. But one thing that a counselor does is he does give some advice about some problems, but the ultimate person who can do that and do it perfectly every time is the Holy Spirit. He's the one that gives you good advice, and he tells you how to maneuver your problems.